What's up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another review. This time we're reviewing Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things from the year 1972, coming to us courtesy of VCI Entertainment. They was kindly enough to send me over a Blu-ray copy of this film. I love the clear case. It does have reversible cover art. This is a film, of course, directed by Bob Clark, who's most famous for Porky's and A Christmas Story, and in the horror world, most famous for Death Dream, which I have yet to see, and of course the classic, one of the best holiday horror films ever made, and that is Black Christmas. But this was sort of his first effort in the horror world, and it is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, sort of capitalizing off of the 1968 classic Night of the Living Dead. This is sort of your zombie film. It follows a group of theater performers who go out to an island to sort of poke around in a cemetery where there are dead bodies of buried criminals. There they begin to do seances, and before you know it, the dead have come back to life. Actually, it's not before you know it, because it takes a long time to get going, and that is probably the biggest complaint in this film, is that you spend a lot, and I mean a lot of time with these characters who are very obnoxious and unlikable, especially the leader of the group, led by Alan, who seems to be the director, or he's very full of himself. He's very to the point where he's the obvious leader, and he obviously knows better than everybody else, even though he's kind of an asshole. And then you just sort of have a group of unlikable to likable to obnoxious, annoying characters around him. They're all sort of these artsy type, obviously being these theater performers, and their mean-spirited director decides to play a prank on them, and you're kind of just with them for a while until the things actually start happening, and the dead actually do eventually rise from the grave, and then it's just a zombie film after that. Not the biggest gore or body count type film. It's not really a film that you can say has, Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead style effects or anything like that, but the zombies look cool enough. They're more like Ghoul style, that 1968 Night of the Living Dead style, but still, effective, definitely effective. I will say that this film is considered a horror comedy, although I did not find it very comedic. Maybe it is comedic in the terms of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in how Tobe Hooper considers it a comedy, but it's really not. Maybe you can kind of see the dark humor in it. This one a little bit more to the extent of the comedy, but it still is in that same sort of tonal that the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre was, and that's not the only comparison I will make to that film. This film also has that gritty sort of realism look to it that Texas Chainsaw Massacre had, and there's even a character in this film who I think Tobe Hooper could have been influenced when he created Franklin. There's a character who really reminds me of him. He's obnoxious like Franklin, and I don't know if anybody's ever made that comparison or not, but I definitely sort of got that vibe. These films came out around the same time. This film has a very thick and rich atmosphere, especially on this island. The lighting is very dark. It's a very dark film, and once again, it does remind me of that sort of realistic darkness that Texas Chainsaw has. This film overall is decent, but it's really only about 20 minutes left in the film before it really starts picking up. But luckily, it does have that cool atmosphere. This is a film that you would love to see in the drive-in. I actually had an opportunity to check this out in a drive-in a few years ago, and I actually ended up leaving because it was the fourth movie in the lineup of 4 movies, and the people that I was with really wasn't feeling it anymore, so we decided to take off right after Phantasm. And this would have been really cool to sit and watch on 35 millimeter, because I think that's probably where it got most of its life at. Sort of its cult following was probably in the drive-ins, these sort of cult grindhouse theaters and whatnot. So this film is not the best movie in the world, but it definitely has an atmospheric charm to it. I give it about a 6.5 out of 10. Now, this release itself is definitely worth grabbing. There is a lot of special features on here. I will say that from what I understand, they are old. They are on previous releases of the film. You do have something that is new though, and I'm not exactly sure what the new feature is. I think it might be just the radio spots, but most of these features have been old. They're old, like from 2007. So I'm not sure if the previous releases have all these features, but just a little rundown here. There is some new liner notes in here in a little sort of paper thing. There's a commentary track, a bonus complete alternate UK version, which I actually didn't get a chance to check out, and I'm actually curious if that was on the previous versions. Memories of Bob Clark, a tribute to the director, and Grindhouse Q&A, Confessions of a Gravedigger interview with Ken Gooch, and I believe that these special features all seem to be older. You know, I think some of them are from like 2007 and stuff, so definitely been a while, but it is nice to have them ported over onto this Blu-ray. There are two covers to this. I prefer this cover. It also has the classic theatrical cover. And yeah, that is my review of Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Hope you guys enjoy. I definitely recommend grabbing this, especially if you can find it for a good price. The transfer is really, really good. I will say that about it. I did check out the original version, and the original version had this very, very blue tint over it. And I do remember from the very beginning when I first saw it in the drive-in, because I did stay for the first minute or two to see what the film even looked like, and it had that very thick blue tint to it, and they cleaned that up a lot in the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray transfer is actually really good for how old the film is, and probably how poor the original negative or whatever probably condition that it was in. So I definitely recommend picking this up, guys. See you next time. Peace.